Hi, everybody. It's Susan Reynolds, and it is July, and it is time for me to talk about the sign of the month. As a karmic astrologer, I always want to talk about the sign of the month because that energy is always going to influence us. This month in July, our sign of the month is Cancer. If you were born generally between June 20th and July 21st, you were born under the sign of the Crab. The crab is a symbol for Cancer, and the moon is the ruling planet. If you know anything about the moon, you know that it changes signs every 2.5 days. It's the fastest moving planet that we have. And if you know a Cancer, their moods can change just like that. This is the sign that is considered to be the most moody of any one of the 12 signs. As a Cancer, I have to own that. If your ruling planet is changing signs every 2.5 days, you might be a tad moody as well. But Cancer in general is very kind-hearted. It's very nurturing. This is the sign that rules home and family. And so their heart is always going to be with their family. It's amazing to me how many people born under the sign of Cancer ends up being some kind of orphan. Sometimes literally they were orphaned at a young age, but more often I see one parent being there and one parent not in the picture. Maybe they travel a lot, maybe they're divorced, maybe they're just emotionally unavailable. But it's almost always one parent that is the dominant kind of good parent and the other parent that seems to be more absent. So this sign really has to think about family. If you're involved with a Cancer at all, male or female, don't insult their mother. Don't make jokes about their family. They take family and home life very seriously. It rules motherhood. Even the men, they love being parents, and they're usually very, very good at it. This is a water sign, and all the water signs are somewhat intuitive. And Cancer from a young age seems to just pick up on what's going on around them. So even if you have a Cancer child or grandchild, and they're like, Grandma, I don't think that's a good idea, listen to them, because chances are they're picking up on something. But what Cancer has to remember to do is to protect their energy field. One of the best things that the parent of a Cancer child can do is to teach them how to protect their aura, because Cancers tend to pick up bits and pieces of everybody else's energy. And sometimes they don't know what part belongs to them and what part belongs to somebody else. It's that sensitivity, it's that nurturing. When Cancer is hurt, they pull into themselves and they get very quiet. Many Cancers are looked at as very shy, very reserved, very quiet. But make no mistake, this is not a weak sign. Cancer is a cardinal sign, and so it's a sign of leadership. They may not be out there with the forcefulness and the maybe brashness of an Aries, but make no mistake, they will put forward their ideas, they will begin projects, they will get things started. That's part of being a Cancer. The leadership may come out a little bit later in life, but sometimes it will come out very early. They end up being the leader of their family, even the 10-year-old. You know, like everybody else wants to go to the mountains, the Cancer wants to go to the beach. Guess where he ends up going? So be aware. This sign does not look at problems head on and go directly. They go sideways, then they go back, then they go backwards, then they go forward. But they get there in the end. They just have a more nuanced way of dealing with things. I'm also going to say Cancer is a sign that rules food. Many Cancers are foodies. Many of them work in the food industry. They're chefs and cooks and waitresses and help put themselves through school, you know, working at a catering company or something. They do very, very well in the food industry. Even if they don't work in the food industry, they may be a big foodie. They love watching all the cooking shows and cooking competitions on television, and they know the best restaurants to eat and the best food places, and Cancer and food just go together like PB and J. Even if they're slender, some struggle with a weight issue. It's all, think of Princess Diana. She was a Cancer. She had that bulimia she had to work with and overcome. There's lots of food stuff going on there. Cancer should never eat when they're upset. They have a very delicate stomach, and they need to be careful about what they're eating because it goes right into their stomach. And if they're upset, agitated, depressed, angry, they can get heartburn, they can have irritable bowel, they can have things that relate to what they're eating. But food in general is a good career for them. Likewise, any kind of profession that has to do with the home, being a realtor, buying properties and flipping them, I don't know, being a home interior designer, anything to do with the home or the family is a natural for Cancer. They seem to just relate to this and seem to be able to shine in that area. This is one of the most kind people you're going to meet, very nurturing, but also very sensitive. Be careful about hurting their feelings. But when Cancer understands who they are and they're able to open their heart to other people, it's a beautiful thing to see. So happy birthday, Cancer, this July. And if you want to know more about what is going on in July for your sign, go to my website, www.exploreastrology.com. And on there, I have all the predictions for all 12 signs posted on my website. And they're all free. You don't have to buy anything or join anything. So go on, take a look, and see what July holds for you. Thanks. And I hope everybody has a great month.